how do we envision our team? And so we networked while we were out on the road. We had a great time. And the second we got back, we said, all right, it's our time. And so we joined another partnership mentorship group, a little more intimate one. And now we're a GP in 2 deals and passive in 4. And so things are happening, and we're just another rung up. So
hello, everyone. We're Jacqueline and Melvin Landry, and we welcome you to our podcast, Get Diversified. Throughout these series, we'll cover all the topics and questions you have about investing in apartment buildings, storage facilities, and mobile home parks. Being knowledgeable in these areas will help you feel more comfortable about investing. Apartment investing equals building wealth. Building wealth equals financial freedom. Achieving financial freedom allows you to spend your time with building memories with your loved ones. Let's face it, time is the one element in life that is limited, and you don't want to waste it.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Get Diversified. My name is Jacqueline Landry, and I am your host this evening. Boy, everybody, wait till you hear this. So I have Barbie and Liz with me. They are co-authors with myself in this book here called Real Women in Real Estate. And what it is it's a combination of 27 women's stories as to how they came into real estate and where they are today. So Barbie and Liz, welcome to the show.
thank you.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having us.
So I want to start off by each one of you ladies just introducing yourselves. Tell us a little bit about you, and then I really want to get into the story that's in the book.
Sure.
Awesome. Go ahead.
I'll go first. So I'm Liz Gunther from Austin, Texas, born and raised, still here because I love it, even though it's hot. Really hot. So I started out in art school, then got into tech. I still do some software development. But I did everything that my parents, like in the book, everything my parents said to do, get the degrees, go to school. And we had pretty good jobs. We just were unsatisfied with, we were not just the job, but the fact that we couldn't really get ahead. Retirement was just this concept that people talked about that we couldn't figure out the map to get there with finances. And so we just enjoyed the money we made to the point where we weren't really focused on retirement at all, to be honest. So the way I found real estate was it was a commercial and about a program, how to learn some things to find financial freedom. And so I was, really intrigued by that phrase. And so it led me down this path to become empowered and do real estate now on our own terms. And we're headed towards that retirement goal. So
fantastic.
Yes, I have a similar story. Been in Austin my whole life, and we met at UT, and I just had this other path. I was like, just get the job. Basically, operations was my background, and so I did restaurant stuff for a long time, and then finally just made the jump to real estate and haven't looked back.
Fantastic. So what was the commercial? Do you know who put on the commercial?
Yeah, so I was watching HGTV flipping home shows.
Okay.
During that, they had our first mentorship program is called Fortune Builders out of California. And so they had a commercial, Dan Merrill, who was an athlete, who was a football player. Yeah. And he had found real estate, was teaching people how to flip homes, buy rentals, and now they do multifamily as well. But that was the commercial, and he said, financial freedom. And I was just, what is this financial? Like, I have a job, I have finances, but how do you get freedom from that? So, boom, just hooked.
Yeah.
Awesome. I don't think they have commercials like that here in Pittsburgh. So anyways, why don't either one of you ladies just talk to me a little bit more about kind of what inspired you and bring us along your journey, because I know from the book that they are different, and that we can kind of come together when you all came together and decided to move forward with multifamily.
I would say, we were really kind of looking within when we wrote our story and really felt empowered thinking about our moms. That kind of was where it all began. And my mother was in real estate my whole life. I just remember her being that lady at the cafeteria whenever we would go. She knew everybody in line because it was all our neighbors and her clients. And I was always super shy and just horrified that we had to talk to everybody. But, I think as a single mom, because my parents were divorced a long time, it was insecure. It wasn't a stable job. And so I'd always say, Mom, I think I want to do that. I think it'd be great. I want to be a realtor. And she'd say, no, do something else. Like, get something that'll pay you to be on vacation and take time off. And I was like, are you sure? It seems to be, something you're really good at. And so I ultimately chose a different path and then came back. So I always felt like she was just such a strong person in my life. Right. That's your mom.
And yeah, I'll add to that we, in real estate, so we had our regular jobs and then we were learning real estate and applying those strategies. And so the reason why we thought about our moms was because we would always, when things got really crazy, we were like, why do we have two jobs? Why don't we just go back to the comfort of sitting on the couch and just hanging out and having vacations and stuff? And we really explored why we were doing this. And we talked about her mom in real estate and like she was doing these incredible things. And then we started bring up my mom and she was which led us to thinking about my mom, thinking about her mom. And so that's what inspired us to really stay focused in real estate. And I'll share with you about my mom's journey now because her mom was in real estate, was flipping homes when it wasn't even talked about. That phrase I'd never heard flipping. So my mom was born in Mexico and she was really close to the border, right south of Texas. And her dad would ride across the border every day to go work as a carpenter. And he got wind of a job in Eagle Pass right across in Texas. And so he brought the entire family. No one spoke English and they got jobs as migrant workers. And so they would travel along the coast, mainly the West Coast, where all the agriculture is. And they would pick fruit and stay in these little shanties on the ranches, on the farms and stuff. And the stories, the people and the bunch of the Mexican Americans would do that. So they would share their stories of what part of Mexico, even Central America, South America. There's a funny story that my aunt was recognized by one of the other was kids then and now as an adult. She was out at church and he was passing through Eagle Pass. This was only a few years ago. And he said, were you a migrant worker along the coast in the 50s? And she said, no, now they're in their 80s, late 70s and 80s. And she's like, yeah. And he described the entire city, the dance hall, the people. And then she remembered him and those bonds, all the stories were just fabulous. But I would ask her things like, didn't you feel like, you come to this country, you don't know the language, and now you're picking fruit. Did you feel poor? Did you feel like you saw these people that own the ranches? And she said, no, not at all. We had not even less in Mexico. And now we were able to have food around us all the time because we were picking it. The ranchers and farmers would give them food. And so they never were hungry, always family around, always a good time. And so her memory of it was just really beautiful and simple and just celebrate what you have in the now. And so that's always just been with me. And of course, the work ethic too, but
a beautiful life lesson.
Yeah, totally. So,
now, was that your interpretation of your childhood as well?
She did lend it. So when I would struggle with things, because she didn't always share everything, it was in times when I would be stressed out or something silly in her eyes that she would share these stories of, yeah, you lost that basketball game. That's a shame, but you get to play basketball. like, we didn't, my sisters and I, we had, 3 dresses among 2 kids, or, they only had, there was 9 children in the family. So everybody had a dress and everybody had a pair of shoes. And so when I would say, oh no, I want these shoes and I want those shoes, she would just look at me like, you have 2 at home already. We'll get you this one, but why don't we go and we also took care of other families. She was really good at I can't remember, it was a foundation where you could go and you could sponsor a family, and so we'd also buy shoes and clothes for them. So that was part of my childhood, was giving. And so huge eye opener about, yes, we have things, but it's also makes those things even more special when you can like gift to people that don't have those. So she's always been teaching me about giving and being okay with what you have. So
Yeah, that's awesome. So, I haven't shared this with our viewers yet, but since you were talking about moms, I was raised by a single mom. My dad died when I was 5. And the interesting thing was we were poor and I didn't know it because of the love that was around me. And the fact that I'd be with mom on the weekends and we'd pack peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and go to the beach in California and go camping. To me, that was great until one time it was Christmas time and I got a train, like those ones that go on the track that you can ride. And I was like, oh, mom, this is great. And then after the second day after Christmas, she says, we have to take that back to the store. So what my mom used to do at Christmas time to make me not feel bad is she used to go out and buy me stuff, but then we'd have to take it back to the store because she couldn't afford it. And so, but it wasn't until that point in time that I was like, hey, we're not as well off as I think we are, but my childhood's okay. And it's okay if I have to return these toys because I was bored with them after a day anyways. But that was really my first, time where I was like, hey, we're not as fortunate as people with, a mom and a dad, right? So anyways, enough about that, but my viewers, I haven't shared that with my viewers yet. So continue your story. So great moms that kind of showed you the ethics of hard work and determination. And then there's more to life than money, but you ladies obviously saw, more to life by seeing the commercial.
definitely.
So take me on the journey from the commercial. There
Well,
goes my son in the background.
is that Pops?
Yes.
So I was the one who was homesick with the flu and just, watching my crime shows and stuff. And so at the end of the day, she actually came home early from work that evening, sick from the flu as well. And so I said, oh my gosh, I saw this commercial. And it's just a 1-day event that they're gonna sponsor. Let's go. There's no money. We're not buying anything. She's the one, I'm the kite and she's the one holding the string.
Right.
Easy. And so I said, let's just go to this thing. She said, okay, yeah, real estate. Okay. Yeah. My mom told me all about real estate, like I know what to expect. So we went, and then it turned into a 3-day conference. And we just, at the end of that 3-day one, so it was 1 day, then they said, why don't you book this 3-day where we'll teach you a little bit. So we went to the 3-day, and at the end of that 3-day, they offered the education program. And I looked at her and I said, look,
I said, we're in.
yeah, I thought I was gonna have to convince, but
So who's the skeptical one? Liz,
Well-
are you the skeptical one?
it depends. With people, yeah, but with processes and like programs and education and stuff, she's the skeptical one.
I mean, I was kind
Okay.
of new to the seminar thing, new to, I thought I'd already paid for all the education I needed in life.
Right.
I didn't realize that there was this whole other piece that we were so interested to learn and go down that path. So I was like, I'm in. I mean, it didn't take a ton of convincing.
Yeah.
I could see it was where we wanted to be. So
Yeah, I think it's a leap of faith sometimes. So my husband's the one that's, yeah, let's do this. money's not an issue because we'll get it back a millionfold, right? And then I'm always like, are you sure?
Yeah.
I'm like you, Barbie, where I'm like, are you sure? And I think, over the last 2 years, I've definitely changed my
Mhm.
mindset to be like, okay, well, we haven't made a huge mistake or a big mistake yet. And so I need to go with my gut and move forward. Okay, so continue.
Okay, so that was, that now we're in 4 mentorship groups. So, it takes money, time, always effort. But we have enjoyed every single second of it. And
And we would always joke and say that we found the ladder. We found which ladder we want to be on. We might only be on the whatever bottom rung or 2
maybe
steps
2
up.
or 3. Yeah.
But we at least found the ladder that we want to be on. So,
And how much did you invest in those mentoring programs?
Total
oh,
60, 30.
I would say upwards of 150 plus.
150,000. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the reason I mentioned the reason I asked that question to the viewers out there is, the viewers, you don't need to spend that money on education when folks like, Barbie and Liz and myself, right? We've already spent the money, so you don't have to do that. You just need to get to know us so that you can trust us with your money and trust us with your investments. So, okay, good. So you spent 150,000 on education. You're all in, all 4 feet are in. You're climbing up the ladder. Talk to me more about it.
So, had some early successes in the single family world, and then we realized it was too much work for what it was, and we wanted to scale. We wanted to get there quicker, and so we learned about multifamily investing, and became passive investors right off the bat in the new mentorship program that we were in, and then we also were learning how to be GPs, and we came close on a deal. And I'll tell you this story. This was one of our fall on your face kind of deals, but great learning experience. We found the deal first, then found the partners. Then something happened in the deal, fell apart. Then the partnership fell apart. It got kind of a little ugly. And so we took a year off and went around the US in an RV to just kind of let's focus on what we need to do, who we are, where we want to be, what kind of syndicators we want to be, what kind, how do we envision our team? And so we networked while we were out on the road. We had a great time. And the second we got back, we said, all right, it's our time. And so we joined another partnership mentorship group, a little more intimate one. And now we're a GP in 2 deals and passive in 4. And so
Awesome.
things are happening, and we're just another rung up. So
let me ask this question. So obviously when there's failure at the very beginning, like this big deal that you had that blew up, how did you find the encouragement and your drive to try it again? Like, what was that? Was it the moms in back of, chirping in the back of you saying, hey, continue to move forward? Was it, well, we got to work harder, everybody can't fail? Like, what was it?
I think it was partly, we would always kind of joke and say, we are 2 smart women. We can figure this out.
Yeah.
And I would constantly say that because I was like, I know it. Like, I just can't put my finger on it. And then we started making those connections. When we focused on team first, deal second, I felt like we had a lot more success. And it was really just the momentum of it. You find that one person you kind of connect with, and they introduce you to 2 more, and then you kind of can, start putting the pieces together. And so that really gave us the confidence to really see how the journey was progressing and really push us to do more. And now we're so fired up. We're like, come on, what's next? It's very motivating.
Yes. But tell me about the motivation, guys, because I know for me, some days I'm not as motivated, and I'm just going to put it out there.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to go, oh gosh, this capital raising, are we really doing it? Are we really cut out for it? Why isn't this underwriting? I've underwrote 50 deals. Why isn't something coming up? Am I being too conservative? So sometimes I find myself, second guessing myself. Like, can I do it? Right? It's not hasn't happened all the time. So do you have days like that, or is it always positive?
Oh my gosh.
And that's the stuff I want to talk to my users about, right? Because we always talk about, oh, you can make a lot of money and this beautiful financial freedom and spending time with, the ones that you love, but it's hard work.
It is.
So talk to me about like
Okay.
days like that and how you get through them.
Yeah, first of all, I want to compliment your choice in glasses. I think that they're so fabulous. I don't know if anyone else noticed that. Like,
Oh yeah, I wonder if they're exactly. Did you get them at Lens Crafters?
no,
Warby Parker.
but
Oh, Warby Parker. Okay, close.
um, so motivation. So for me, it is very, very specific to my situation. My mom is approaching 80. She, her where she started. From Mexico and that whole journey and coming here, she still takes care of my father, who is at home and is disabled. She also takes care of her grandkids, and her first real estate investment, which was another piece to this story, was they put money into an office building with a family member, and or didn't put money in. He only asked for their personal information, and I'm not sure what happened, but something didn't go right, and they had to put a new mortgage on the family home. And so she's paying off a mortgage, taking care of my father. She's approaching 80, and it is my responsibility as the oldest of four to retire her with grace. And so every day, anytime there's something that happens, whether it's a failure or I just see her going to work. She's had a stroke. She can't see out of her. I mean, it's just like she needs to be at home with her grandchildren. And so it doesn't matter what happens to us, whether it's success, whether it's a failure forward or a failure sideways. Like this is why I'm doing this.
This is why.
Right this second. And so I would recommend that people have something front of mind, like either you're helping someone, you're helping yourself, you're keep that right there, because with those motivations, with those something so specific and so necessary, and it's just going to drive you. It doesn't matter what happens. It does not matter. You will stay focused. You will get there.
Beautiful story.
What is your motivation?
So, I think I'm still, to be honest, I think I'm still trying to find it. Belong to a lot of different groups. And, I used to say, well, hey, I'm a multifamily, self-storage investor. And, we buy these big apartment buildings. And then as I started going to this one group called Women Funding the World, they're out of New York, I started to realize that my mission is to help women as well as minorities, with me being white, my husband being black, is to really help educate those two groups of people in the fact that they can be part of these $1 million investments, and they can build their wealth dollar by dollar, right? With getting some additional benefits along the way. So I think that, I think that's my new mission statement is really helping to educate the women out there that are just clueless. And I think my why is, we have one 8-year-old, which you've seen run across the street, or run across the screen here, not across the street. Oh my gosh. And he aspires to be a pilot at a young age. He started when he was 1, still loves it even more at the age of 8. So I want to help him along his financial freedom path, right? So by the time that he's 18, he could potentially choose what job he wants, right? But he also can be that financially free where he can choose what he truly wants to do in the aviation world. And he
Wow.
could be set up for success at the age of 21. It's like, what other parents are talking about this kind of stuff?
Yes, that's
Well,
great.
we are. It's all about being diversified as a couple, right? And being diversified in your investments. So our why is definitely our little man. And, we hear so many stories about people retiring when they're 60, 65, 70. And what happens 6 months later?
Yeah.
Dead, right? So what kind of life did they lead after retirement? Our goal is to retire my husband, since I'm not working in corporate America anymore, in the next 3 to 4 years, so that we can lay back on the beach and give our money to people that are, running the multifamily investment for us, like you all, right? Hey, here's 50,000. We'll see you later. Make sure
Right.
our money doubles in 3 to 5 years. You guys are capable and you're still raring to go. And then we're sitting back drinking margaritas on a beach and watching our son, fly us from country to country.
Love it.
That's beautiful. I love
So
it.
Yeah.
that's a long-winded, answer as to, what my mission statement is and what our why is. But I probably need to put that on my
Yes.
above my desk is to help motivate myself when I'm feeling those days. I'm feeling like, oh gosh, do I need to send another email about this opportunity?
Yeah.
There are definitely those days. It is
True.
a challenge some days when you feel like I've underwritten a million deals and only one of them pencils out all the things, but just to try to remember that could be the next one.
Yes. So
And
what's next for Barbie and Liz?
what is next?
Well, more of this, a lot of this, and then, we're going to continue to diversify and learn about other, like we're talking about, we're in an RV park as well.
Okay.
That's an interesting niche of this industry. Also storage. I've heard that the returns are just,
We can talk after.
oh yeah, oh yeah, noted. Uh, plus, so definitely diversify what kind of assets we present to our investors, and then beyond that, the end goal for me is I'm an artist, and to give lessons to kids and to have, I don't know if it's a school or just art lessons, or I also illustrate children's books, and so I want to continue to actually write one and then illustrate it too, would be the end goal. So to work with kids and art, I will be passive eventually and then do that.
Sure. Yeah, no one wants to work forever and ever and ever, because this stuff is hard work. When you're a
Right.
general partner, it's definitely, I mean, the
It's
rewards are great, but it's hard work for a long period of time.
right. What about you? What's
Yeah.
your end goal?
Just quickly, I'm a huge animal fan, so anything I can do to donate or give back to our local no-kill shelters is my number one. And
Awesome.
I want to cheers you on the beach.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, I love your stories. I love the mom influence and the family influence that brought you to where you ladies are today. You're beautiful souls. And I know we just met not too long ago, but I know you're gonna succeed and just knock it out of the park. And we need to talk about let me bring this up here. This will be another shout out too. So there's this book. I'm gonna send this to your book so you can send me your address. So it's called Alicia's Magical Red Lipstick, and it was written by one of these women I met in New York, and it is for young ladies helping to get to know that the beauty inside, and it's all you would love the graphics and stuff that are in here.
Oh,
So I would love to send it to you, and my only ask would be is to pass it on to other young women that maybe are having, issues with trying to find themselves, or maybe they're not as beautiful as what they look like when they take a selfie. I hate selfies. So anyway, so yeah, that when you said that you're an artist and you do illustrations, it brought this book to mind, which I got from a friend of mine.
it
so
will go
cool.
to my niece. So she's 11 years old, so it's perfect Perfect. timing.
Awesome. And I had my son read it, and I just wanted him to know it's not about all what's on the outside, right? And it's like a 2-minute read, but super fun. All right, so look, how do people find you if they want to get in touch with you or inspired by your story or want some additional insights?
Yeah, so she manages the socials. You want to go through all your socials and
We do a couple things. We do some YouTube stuff, hashtag naked investing. We just like to break down kind of the real deal for people that want to learn about investing. And our website is BE Property Investors. I'm the B.
the E
Awesome.
property
Awesome.
investment. Yeah. So
You guys are great. Thank you
Thanks.
so much for joining us this evening, and we'll be in touch, guys.
Thanks
Thanks,
for
Jacqueline.
having us.
Alrighty.
Talk soon.
Thank you.
All right, bye.